There's been a lot of debate whether a gay footballer can be comfortable coming out while still playing in the Premier League. Well, I've come down to visit Britain's first openly gay football club, Stonewall FC, to find out about the environment they play in and the response that they get from the sport's grassroots community. Eric, you're the manager of Stonewall Football Club. Tell us a little bit of the background of this club. It's 25 years.
Yeah, we founded in 1991. A group of gay guys who wanted to play football. There wasn't an opportunity for them to do so. I believe the story goes that an advert was put in Time Out magazine where I think they expected half a dozen replies, and they were inundated with people saying, yep, let's do this. So they met up in a London park, and everything started up from there.
Yeah, well, the thing that attracted me to Stonewall FC, I think, is the pedigree of the club. It's the most successful gay football team in the world, one of the biggest within London, and competes at the highest level within the UK. So, yeah, we had our 25th season last year, which is great for, as I said, we're the oldest LGBT club within the UK, but also as an amateur club, being 25 years old, is something as chairman I'm particularly proud of.
The club also welcomes straight players, and Ryan Blackmore-Olness is one of them.
Actually, one of my gay friends from back in Devon. I moved to London with him, and he knew Stonewall FC. He invited me along and said the standard's very high, so I came to training sessions, got along really well with the lads, and started from there really. It's definitely not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought I'd be going onto the football pitch and getting abused left, right and centre, to be quite honest with you. But it's not as bad as I thought it would be. I've never had anything thrown towards me as a player. I know occasionally it's happened in the 2.5 years that I've been here, but it's nowhere near as bad as what I thought it would be, especially when I was down in Devon. I thought if you played for a gay team, you'd get it every match from your position and probably from the fans on the side of the pitch.
Well, nowadays it's pretty much okay. We're an established team. We've been playing in the same league for the past 14, 15 years in the Middlesex County Football League. So you build up a rapport with the teams you play against. Times were different 10, 15 years ago, but we've done our best to challenge that stereotype of gay people playing football, and all sport for that matter, and also educating people where necessary.
It's been pretty good in recent years. We're quite well established in the Middlesex County League. Not without saying, there are incidents, and unfortunately even this season there's been a couple of incidents where opposing players have used the word puff to us. But we find the referees are kind of getting better. The FA have got a lot more focus on it.
At the moment, there are no openly gay professional players in English football. Justin Fashanu remains the only prominent player to have ever come out while still playing in 1990, and he tragically committed suicide 8 years later.
Yeah, I think football now is the last sport that needs to address this. I think you're seeing in other sports, and also in the GB team that went to Rio, a number of openly gay Olympians that actually came back, and football does seem to be the last bastion, if you like. The only difference with football is obviously the culture and the terrace culture, and the fact that there are still people out there who believe that it would be, quote, career suicide for a footballer to come out, which I think is totally out of touch.
I think if there were a number of LGBT players coming out, I think that would be positive for the game. Recent research undertaken by ICM on behalf of Stonewall the charity have suggested that a majority of football fans would be pleased if a player came out, and would think that is positive for the game. However, that's not happened yet, and we need to sort of really wonder why that is. In that same survey that ICM undertook, almost 3/4 of football fans said that they had heard homophobic abuse in football games they'd gone to, and 1 in 5 young people have said that they would be embarrassed even if their favourite player had come out.
If you had that role model growing up, I think it would make coming out, everything like that, a lot easier. I think sometimes gay people are portrayed in the media in a certain way, which can be fine, but it doesn't always show that people can be good at sport, people that can play at the highest standard. So I think it's kind of perceptions in society. I think it would really help. I think you've seen that with like the likes of Gareth Thomas and stuff in rugby. It's kind of challenging stereotypes, and that's really helped the sport a long way.
Undoubtedly there's going to be openly gay professional footballers, certainly amongst their dressing rooms, and undoubtedly that's going to be accepted as it is in society in the main. Whether it's just because of fear of what gets said on the terraces, what the media says about it, we're still living in a culture where the majority of LGBT or gay entertainers that are on television are still quite effeminate and camp, and society is still sort of catching up with the fact that that's not always necessarily the case.
The trend seems to be when they retire or they head off to America, that's when one or two have come out, like Hipsberger at West Ham, I think I got his name right. But I remember him coming out, but he waited until he was retired. And I thought that's quite sad, that he had to wait, and he was maybe afraid of what the fans would, from the terraces, what abuse he would get. I think we're in a day and age where being gay is no problem. I'm straight and I'm playing for a gay team, and it doesn't, I don't think about it half the time, to be honest. It doesn't affect me.
For me, the conclusion is quite simple. In 2016, despite all the progress made in the game, tackling racism, sexism and homophobia, more needs to be done. And until gay footballers can be open about their sexuality without fear of being targeted by homophobia or discrimination, then the Premier League and English football cannot claim to have done enough.